Insomniac Music and Performer Arts. I think that's the name of the channel, is Insomniac. I'm not that much of a dance house person, but this is... I think it's just kind of on cookies and ding-dongs and coffee. So I'm a little like... If you can even hear the other... Like I said, there's two... It's over-layering, so I'm just going to go to my channel. But I almost went to sleep before I played the game today. And it was an early game, too. Which I said I wasn't going to get behind. Ironically, I was playing the actual game. Like, I played the show. Oh, my stomach hurts now because of the cookies and the ding-dongs I ate. Oh, boy, I just farted. Sorry. But I played the game a bunch today. And so I didn't end up streaming it. Ooh, I almost want to put Kyle. Who's pitching for them? Is it Strasburg? It's Strasburg. We'll take a flyer on Leicester against Strasburg. I'd rather have Hendricks rested and ready to go. Yeah, Steven Strasburg. Let's do that. I think he's right-handed. He's right-handed, right? Pretty sure. Let's give Nico Horner the start over Jason Kipnis. Let's give him a shot out there, huh? How about we? And then, also, let's give Albert Almora a shot over, man, I don't like the bottom half of that. Offensively, I don't like the bottom half of that lineup at all. But here we are, because like I said, I didn't mean to ever go this... After I'd caught up the first time to everything, I didn't ever want to be behind on streaming. John Lester. He's left-handed and he's angry a lot of times. Sorry, I'm also talking to clients on my writing stuff. Literally, a prospective client I'm talking to.
Leading off for Washington.
Because he, it won't let me. Wow, I actually have to pitch a pitch. I'm going to pitch a pitch that is high and out and not in the zone. So I basically gave them a one free pitch there because I had to get out of the
First pitch, 120.
But I might be writing a real short strike. There we go. A real short. I like the short projects the most. The longer projects maybe pay more, but not for like what you're doing.
1 and 2.
Like the short projects, when you're writing like 5 to 20 some pages. Strike 3. So after I made Lester throw a ball, 3 straight strikes. Wow. Nicely done, John. Yeah, I like smaller scripts. It's so much easier to write. I don't know if anyone's listening. It's okay either way. But it's so much easier to write a 5 to 20 page story than it is to write a 90. I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but also it's like not only not only because of the length, but because of the layers. I was gonna say the layers and the depth. I'm just kind of saying that. But like there's so much more depth you have to a full story. Especially once you start having more and more like, I like having not that many. I shouldn't say I like having not very many characters. I'm better with fewer amounts of characters. Although that's probably a cop out too, to be like, well, obviously. There's certain ensemble shows that I'm like Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think would be really hard to do. Because there are a lot of characters that get a lot, like, get pretty evenly distributed screen time. That's really hard to do. And to have it work, and they do. Because Brooklyn Nine-Nine is very fun. I mean, I know it's on Fox. Or is it on NBC now? It's on something. It could be on TBS, though, because it is very funny. Juan Soto. Jesus. Okay. I'm guessing the wind is going out right now. Because that looked like it carried a whole heck of a lot.
The second baseman.
A whole heck of a lot, that one did. Here we go, Starlin Castro. Oh, he's going! Strike one! Oh, wow. Just nailed him. Just straight down the middle. I mean, I don't know if that was a straight steal, but he definitely looked like he got hung out to dry there by the batter didn't even think about trying to hit that. So I don't know. Steven Strasburg, 2-2 with 2.84 ERA, 38 innings, 46 strikeouts. The walks are a little high, but the whip is still really low. Like, for walking a batter every other inning, the whip is still pretty low because that means he's only giving up a hit every other inning as well. Ish. 1.18. So, yeah. Chris Bryant on an 8-game hitting streak, batting .327 on the year. Here we go, Chris Bryant. Ball one. Chris Bryant. The client is like, you have mostly comedy on your scripts. Yep, on my portfolio. Yep. I don't have that much drama written. I should. I want to write more drama stuff.
Well, that's off the plate. Three balls, one strike. Ball four, that pitch is low.
Batting second, the first baseman, Anthony Rizzo.
Ball.
Anthony Rizzo up. Ooh, 2-0.
2-0. Ball 4.
All right, ball 4 to Anthony Rizzo.
Batting third, the left fielder, Kyle Schwarber.
Kyle Schwarber's up with 2 men on, nobody out. Perfect time to hit into a double play, probably, is my guess, because Steven Strasburg is good, and I don't think it's just going to, yeah. And thinks something real good is going to happen. Whoa! That's looks like a wild throw. It's actually a really good throw. It's just a...
Batting fourth, the catcher, Wilson Contreras.
Wilson Contreras, best hitter on the team. Although his numbers are coming down, he's not being the Superman that he was. I mean, no, I wasn't expecting him to bat 400 and hit 60 home runs. So
1 ball, 2 strikes.
this was expected. I think he's been stuck at 14 home runs for a while. I think 14 pitchers, 14 home runs. What a coincidence. Ugh. But yeah, so it was some clunkers are to be expected here from Contreras as he put up such good numbers the first month. I was going to say month at the very least. The first 3 weeks of the season, his numbers were just nuts. Well, so 2 men on, 2 out. After the Cubs have the first 2 runners reach base, the next 2 get out, and now Javier Baez is on to see if he can do something.
Count 1-0.
Ooh, tries to make contact now. Oh, tries to make contact. Here's the 1-2 to Javier Baez. Strike 3. I knew they weren't going to fucking score any runs. Fucking phonies. I knew it. I was almost mad because I was like, Steven Strasburg's really good. I don't think they're going to jump on him right away.
Leading off for Washington, the second baseman, Starlin Castro.
Starlin Castro, former Cub, made his debut here about 10 years ago. Or was it 2009? 2010? Let's see here. Let's see. It was either 2009.
Ball 1.
2010. So yeah, it was about a decade ago. Literally about a decade ago, probably. It was probably in I don't know when he came up, actually. Let's look at that. But it's literally, it's crazy that he's been in the league for 10 years. I feel so fucking old. Because I remember, like, still being here. It's 2010. May 7th, so 2 days ago. Okay, I must have seen an article about it like 2 days ago that said it. That must be why my mind was going with that. Because yeah, his oh gosh, it's gonna be a I thought it was gonna be a grand roll double. It's gonna be at least 2.
That is fifth. The first baseman.
We're gonna give Brady a call here. Should have Brady's game. It's only 10:41 where he's at, as opposed to 12:41 here. So he's awake, most likely. Hello.
You're not doing a stream, are you?
I'm not doing a stream.
God damn it.
I know. I forgot to do it today because ironically, I was actually playing the video game for real. And I got I forgot how angry I get when I lose at video games.
Oh, yeah. You're not a loser.
No, I don't like losing, even in something as trivial. Although, if you think, you're lucky you've never seen Ryan lose in a video game.
Oh,
I don't know if you have.
Ryan not getting his way on the conversation.
Yeah.
I can only imagine.
He's broken controllers. I never broke. I think I've come close, and the older I get, I think I've come closer. But I usually put the controller down, and then with my fist, I hit the desk. I slam my fist down on the desk if I'm angry. That's having to come, and it's more. A lot of times, if it's more like glitchy stuff, like that's when I get really mad. Is when I lose, when there's a something where it's not my fault. Yes, where it's something where I was like, that's a bullshit thing. That shouldn't have happened.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that makes me. Yeah. Oh, I've been doing okay actually today. I probably was like winning half the games, losing half the games. Sometimes people quit, sometimes they don't. But like, there's like an auto pitch. I don't know if it's like if there's a delay. Oh, a great play by Baez. Baez to corner to Rizzo. They get two. That could have been no outs and scored Starlin, but instead 2 outs. Starlin's on third. I also to stay with baseball. Wow, nice play, Baez. And then he's from his tummy, throws it from his tummy to Horner, and Horner says, "Thanks for the tummy throw, Baez. I'm going to throw it to Rizzo now." And Baez says, "You do that. I'll be on my tummy."
Steve Stone's.
Steve
His
Stone.
whole attitude.
Well, Harry, that's Steve Stone had to transition. He would always say, "Well, Harry, that is true. That is what Mexicans would say. That's true, I guess." That's what he would say. Like it would just be like, my friend Nick sent me a clip, an audio clip, and it's Ron Santo, Harry Carey, and I don't know who else. And they're just all fucking they're like commentating a game. And you can tell they're just all fucking drunk. Like,
Was it former baseball player?
it was some announcer with the, hold on, I don't know what it was. I'll ask Nick. I can't remember who it was. The name doesn't sound familiar, but I think maybe if I look them up, I go, oh, okay. But maybe it was whoever was with Ron Santo before Pat Hughes, because it was Ron Santo and Harry Carey and someone else. And it's probably the mid '80s, and they're just fucking drunk, like not hiding. Well, because back in the day, they used to go to Harry in the bleachers. Like he'd be shirtless. He'd be shirtless.
That's awesome. I have a Budweiser. I'll leave.
That's just so absurd. Like, I wonder if they were just like, are you gonna put a shirt? Like, I wonder if that was ever just like, are you gonna, Carrie, you want to put a shirt on? Why would I put a shirt on? It's hot out.
This is a perfect time.
It's hot out.
1:15 in a hot Chicago sun.
It's a hot Chicago sun.
On a beautiful late May day.
If I need to cool down, I'll just pour some of this Budweiser and rub it into my nipples.
If not, I'm going to take some of my buddy Chris's here.
I've started drinking through osmosis, so I just pour the beer. I don't know why. Now I'm turning into Bill Cosby for some reason as the voice is going from Harry Carey. The beer goes in the I can't do it right now. I'm very on a lot of sugar right now.
You're on a lot of sugar?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you drank a bunch of Mountain Dew.
I haven't had any Mountain Dew today, but I've had coffee today. I've had multiple Ding Dongs. I've had some chocolate chip cookies.
Oh, God.
Dude, Ding Dongs, I bought like a package of them. Not like the you know how like they come in the package of 2? Oh, you never saw? Okay, well, when I always used to get them at like Mighty Shop, they'd be on like two. They'd be two kind of decent sized ones in a. It would be like a package, but there'd be two of them, right? Like the singular. But I bought a thing of them, and the thing I liked about the two of them is that you would be like, well, I have to eat the other one because now the package is like, what am I gonna do? Like, where am I going to put... But the thing I don't like about... Or, well, I kind of like it, is because they're smaller. Like, the big thing of them, they're like... But they're all individually wrapped. So I don't like that because, like, you very much... Like, I feel like when there are two of them at once, you're like... It forces your hand. It forces your hand. You know what I mean? You have an excuse. But when they're all individually packaged inside of the package, every one of those you eat is a... decision that you make that you can't have any excuse other than that I want more.
Speak my language.
Yeah, man. It's
As somebody that grew up, that was my breakfast.
Yeah.
Not my parents.
One ball, two strikes.
They weren't in control of that. It was me and my sister. We both were. These fucking ho-hos and fudge rounds. These are our breakfast.
Yeah. Were you a fan of the cupcakes that were similar, the chocolate cupcakes, the Hostess? That was my favorite.
So many phases.
Those were my favorite for years.
The pitcher.
The Hostess cup.
Yes, the one with the top of icing that has the little squiggly cursive-y type. Yeah.
And Hostess is the second one.
I would eat those in like one. Like I would shove the whole fucking. Like I think it was like a party trick. Where I'd be like, "Hey, you want to see me throw this entire?" And everyone would be like, "Not really. We don't really want to see that." And I'd be too late. Yeah, here it goes. Oh,
I'm gonna drop the
yeah.
Stuck on mom.
It's all right.
It's a weird wet fudge thing.
But I haven't had one of those in forever. Now I want those.
Last time I had one, it was like, God, these are like way saltier than I remember.
Yeah, I feel like they add glazes upon glazes upon glazes on that. Ooh, Chris Bryant hits it deep and into the corner. Hits the ivy. It's going to score one. It's going to maybe score two here. It looks like it is. And Chris Bryant with a stand-up double clears the bases. Nicely done, Chris Bryant. Albert Mora Jr. and I think Nico Horner both come in. Nicely done. His two-run double is 14th of the year. Chris Bryant getting it done.
Who are we playing?
We are playing the Washington Nationals, and Steven Strasburg is pitching too, so get the runs while you can against him, as he is a very good pitcher. He briefly had the largest pitching contract in history for about 36 hours, and then Garrett Cole got the bigger one. Both represented by Scott Boras, that son of a bitch. I wonder how rich Scott Boras is.
You're jealous of us, Ortega?
I'm not jealous,
Why is he a son of a bitch then?
because he's a piece of shit. I'm not jealous of him.
Oh,
You don't think he's a piece of shit? I mean, I'm all for getting...
I don't like any sports.
Yeah, but he's like the biggest piece of shit. Or, well, I have mixed feelings about... Like, I appreciate when someone... It's one of those weird things where, like, teams only will spend a finite amount. That being said, sometimes players will get mad if one of the best players in an area won't take a huge contract or will take a lesser one, because then that lowers their market value if they're like, you know what I mean?
I understand.
Yeah.
This is the part of baseball that is really disheartening.
Yes.
Ruining it for me, honestly. I'm not going to say that they don't deserve it and all that work.
Yeah, because revenues have always been going... Well, not this year. An anomaly. Let's just never... Whenever I talk about the norm or the way the world is, I'm not counting this year. But revenues have consistently went up every year. And so there's really no reason to... For most any team... they really shouldn't say, "Oh, we don't have the money for it," because almost every team does, for the most part. Like, yeah. You know, when you're selling $8 beers at 82 games with 30,000 people. Just that by itself, do the math on that. Are the Cubs now this year? And I understand they want to get under the luxury tax. Are you familiar with the luxury tax structure right now? Okay, so the luxury tax, I think it's at like 210 million, maybe around there. So for every dollar you spend after that $210 million for your payroll for the year, you pay an extra percentage luxury tax back toward the league that gets shared around with the rest of the teams in the league that don't go over the luxury tax.
That's
but
kind of a nice adjustment.
yes, but and it's been there for a while. But now the recent changes to it are the penalties get steeper if you continuously keep going over. So like the first year, it's like 10 or 20% of every dollar you spend after the luxury tax, you pay another 10 or 20%. Then like the second year, it gets like 30 or 40%, and then like the third and fourth year, it gets like 50. Like you start paying like 40 to 50%. Of what you're already paying on top of it. And so the Cubs want to restart that. It's to dissuade teams from it's to dissuade the Yankees from doing what they're going to do anyway. And then also to if the teams still do that, then I'm pretty sure that it goes back into, because there is revenue sharing amongst the teams, and I'm assuming that goes back into the smaller, like gets evenly distributed amongst all the teams, I would guess, in the MLB, whatever the MLB wants to do with it, I guess. But the Cubs were over the luxury tax this year, and I think they want to get under to restart for next year. The thing is, after next year, because they started their own channel, with Marquee Network. It's a Cubs channel. It's going to be like subscription. Once that, well, yes, and it already exists. And actually, I'm excited because they hired Mark Grace to be a commentator. There's actually a thing you would probably think is cool. I want to watch it. I haven't seen it yet, but it's him. It's Mark Grace and Anthony Rizzo like hanging out and talking about playing first base and just like talking about like different ways they would play players and batting. Like, I don't know. There's two people I really respect, like defensively and offensively. It's like those two dudes as first baseman, just those two dudes talking. Two left-handed Cubs greats playing, but once that happens, because that essentially they teamed up with Sinclair, I think, but that's going to be, let's just throw out a number of saying they have a 500,000 people that subscribe to it, okay? And it's a monthly thing of like $5. So, they're making $2.5 million a month. So, that's, and that's not including, I'm assuming there's commercials too. So it's like they're going to have advertising on top of the fact that it's a subscription service. So it's like, which in the subscriptions will be the advertisings will probably be a decent amount if people. I don't know. It's one of those things where after that, I don't ever want to hear after next year, once they get under this year, and once they have a pay platforms for Cubs fans to watch, I don't ever want to hear them talk about not having any money ever again, because then it's just for sure a lie. Like, because you can just point to that and say no. But So, which, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if Chris Bryant still is with the Cubs here in a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. It's weird.
Yeah, it's going to start chipping away.
Well,
he'll be a big one.
I hate and love it in that
Baez is through?
he'll get an extension. He's through 2021. What?
There's gotta be a clause on this.
For what?
For just arbitration, whatever is going to happen.
Arbitration, is still team control.
Just any clause that would have. It's going to be extended, right?
What? This is going to count as a year for service time for people. Yes. I think the salaries are going to be obviously taken back, dependent upon how many games there are. But that was part of the agreement, I believe, was that that the players will gain their year of service time, I believe, if they were on the roster. That being said, there was like oh shit, get him out. Yes. Because here's the thing, the Indians sent down, and same thing with the Rays, and I feel like they did it out of not knowing what the rulings would be on having younger people up, because they both sent people that were both on still one of them is on one of my fantasy teams, but the Indians had like their fourth or fifth starters with AAA right now, and he was going to be their fourth or fifth starter. There were a couple of injuries with Carlos Carrasco and Mike Clevenger where they might be coming back. But he still looked like he was probably going to be a starter. And then Brandon McKay, who's like he's like kind of like a Shohei Ohtani type, where he was like the best minor league pitcher in the minors last year, but he also was a hitter. He didn't. He struck out a lot of guys in the majors when he came up, but he didn't. He's one of those guys where it's like his stuff is undeniable. So people are like, he had like a 5-something ERA, but it was like he still struck out people. And then he also was pinch hitting sometimes, and like DHing because he was like a two-way guy, which I'm excited about that too. I'm really excited about Shohei Ohtani. I was super excited when that started. I was sad that he got injured, but I love that they're acknowledging that people can play both. So
Let him do it.
yes,
I'm glad that he'll be completely, fully healed.
yeah.
He's working his ass off.
I'm guessing what they'll do with him is he'll become a relief pitcher, maybe, instead of, I don't know. We'll see. It's hard to tell. Or they might just say pick one, and I would guess they would have him just do the
Well,
DH.
it's crazy with the time off. He might be fully back to square one.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to bat. He's been able to bat, I
Oh,
think.
for sure.
I don't know if I'm not sure where he's at for throwing wise. I have no idea. But yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's they're talking about
I
July.
think it's cool if he can still pitch.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
Well, because that used to be like the sportscasters would always talk about this, where there would be like it's kind of the irony that when you are growing up, that your best pitcher is often your best hitter on the team, and they're like, at what point does that start to not, like, at what point do the people who are pitching start to be like, I'm a pitcher, and they stop caring about hitting, like, but yeah. Because wouldn't you say that? Like even in high school, a lot of times it's like if your best pitchers are often. Or I guess I didn't watch that much high school stuff, but
No, I don't know.
yeah, I just never
We
should say.
had a weird school.
Yeah.
Where everybody was just doing fucking good. Like
Yeah.
they could, I can pitch.
The batter number 9, shortstop, Javier.
Yeah, but I don't know. So it'll be
In our class.
yeah. I didn't watch any. That's scholastic things to me were very much a school year thing. I think that was the main reason why I was like, no, summer's for summer. I think it's because I did so much schoolwork and was always in activities that like the summer was the one time when I was little that I didn't have to do anything. But for the most part, like I liked playing golf, but that was like the one thing that I was like, it was a sport, but I liked it. It was fun. I could play golf and then ate mozzarella sticks and swam all day. It was fucking fantastic. It's fantastic. It's the sort of thing that you would call like nowadays. I would be like, oh man, you don't know how good you have it, you know. If you were to tell me like,
That is like the natural for most men.
yeah, to just be like, I would just drink like a Shirley Temples and fucking eat mozzarella sticks and then do a fucking flip off the old diving board, and then go back to the sticks, go back to the mott sticks, play some with a beach ball bit, ogle the hot lifeguards. Oh, hot lifeguards.
I never told you about this when I was back in July. I
Yeah.
was just like taking the loop around town. I went past the country club and I was like, wow, it's
Depressing.
It's mud. It's
Yeah.
mud now.
Is it now just it's fucking depressing.
Whoa,
Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah. There's so much of Newton that is just a metaphor for my youth being lost. Like when it just it was just like a bunch of ragged weeds, and just nature, it just had its way, and it was just not
Well,
kept.
when I was there, I was like, still
Okay.
this is about to fucking implode.
The
Yeah.
center fielder, number 5.
And I very rarely will go back because I still felt when my old house still did feel like my home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I liked going back there. I liked having my room. I liked being a block away from like literally I could order pizza 24/7 and walk a block and get it, and it would be $6 whatever the small Casey's pizza was. And then I could.
Oh, that was the shit.
It was great.
Especially when 66 up. It was like, what? We don't have grass this year.
Yeah. Bottled Coca-Cola. I was just like, oh yeah, bottled Coca-Cola. Hell yeah. It's great. And who was it, Doritos? Is that what it was called? What's the
Burritos?
no.
Burritos?
Doritos, yes. Doritos.
Jeez, Doritos? What the fuck?
What's that drink I like that's also chips? Doritos?
What is that?
No, I couldn't remember what it's called. Although I don't know if I ever really got that. I just always like, ooh, Albert Armora Jr. Holy jeez, he puts a charge in a one, watches it go, 3-run shot, 107.1 miles per hour exit velocity, 426 feet. The nerds in the bullpen love it. One of them's doing the sprinkler, one of them's doing the Macarena. Others are just doing other various things that coders had to come up with and spent a lot of time on doing. Then they probably were like, do we really have to spend 2 weeks on the Cubs bullpen dancing on home runs? And the people said, yes, you do. Now get back to it.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
2020.
we really need to make sure that building across the street looks like that building across the street. I like how when I was little, I was like, I wish things were more like they had more exactness to it, and they had everything the way it really is. Now I think about the amount of man hours that go into some of this, and I'm like, they didn't need to do that.
Insane.
They didn't need to do that. I didn't need.
Like MLB 96 for Sega,
Yeah.
I remember they had like
I got a ball, one
obviously the Citgo sign at Fenway was there.
Yeah.
Like just a couple of ads, and I was like, how the fuck do they know that's there?
Yeah. Or like it might have been one of the RBI baseballs that had the New York Mets Apple thing. I always remember being like liking playing there because I'd be like, if you hit a home run, the apple comes out. Like this is such a stupid yokel Iowa kid thing to say. Like, if you hit a home run in the big city, a giant apple comes out. You guys gotta see this apple. It's huge. I don't know what the biggest apple you've ever seen is, but trust me, this one is bigger.
It's big, but it ain't real.
It is the big apple. It's a big apple inside the big apple. It's a lot to put your mind around. I tried doing a joke where I talk about the apple of the day keeps the doctor away. Where I was like, that's just something that Big Apple wants you to think. And I was like, but not New York City, I mean like the Apple companies. I was like, but they're based in New York City. So it's really confusing. Oh, that was, I'm getting a text.
A text.
Who's texting me? Oh, it's the producer for the football movie is texting me. graduated from a knife directing class.
Just
He said he saw Sonny once or twice, I think. Like, I don't know if he meant, like, in the background. Like, it was, like, online, like a directing course, like a couple, 2 week or month. Sorry, it should be done.
That is
Yep, sorry, one more. Oop, 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 2 more. Sorry. I mean, I'm not... Hold on. Let me... Actually... Okay. Well, let's just hope it doesn't happen anymore. Because I was like, oh, I'll just turn it to silence, and then I realized that that would silence you.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Please.
Did you watch that John DiMaggio thing?
I watched it before.
Okay. Oh yeah, you said you did. Sorry.
Okay, remember when I sent the video?
Yeah.
You
Yes.
guys?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. I thought it was interesting that the throat thing they do. You know what I'm talking about? Where he talked about like when he gets when he does the thing where he talked about like when Bender gets electrocuted, he like does the thing where he like rubs his Adam's apple pretty much. Yeah. That's interesting. I didn't. By the way, is it just me or were most of those impersonations really bad?
They were very terrible. I think John
They were-
DiMaggio is being very respectful.
Yeah, he's
like,
being very
okay.
nice. Whenever he said he'll give an E for effort, what he really meant was that was fucking terrible. But I'm trying to think. I feel like one of the Benders was okay. I feel like one of the Benders was okay. The guy who did the first Bender, because he was talking about how he's like, oh, he sounds like the early Bender, and that was the other interesting thing is he talked about how, and I've noticed this before. I think I've heard voice actors talk about it before. Is the longer they do a voice. It evolves. It basically becomes more of their own, like, because they're like, oh shit, I've got to do this shit all the time, like, because I think when they first do it, they're like, I'm gonna do this character and it's gonna sound like this, and then they do 1 or 2 episodes and they're like, you know what, that hurts to do that like that all the time, or I don't like to do that all the time. So because it's like with Dan Castellaneta, because he originally said he was doing like a Walter Matthau in like the first season or 2 of The Simpsons. He was like, hey, he did. He was like, hey boy, you know, to Bart, and then it became much higher pitched later when you you know the.
Yeah, he just put it like deeper in his throat, but it wasn't uncomfortable.
I'm actually quite fond of you.
Beat the shop.
Beat the shop. No restaurante. Gustafson. I was watching. I know you're not a Star Wars guy, but it's funny because in the have you ever seen any Star Wars, or you just not like any of the? You've seen the original trilogy, I'm assuming.
You got 2 balls, 1 strike.
Not closely enough to
Okay.
get a damn
Well,
thing out of it.
okay. So in the first one, though, there's like when Darth Vader kills Obi-Wan Kenobi. Spoiler. In the first one.
Yeah, I've seen
Okay.
that one. I
So
guess.
that
I've seen one.
sword fight is so like them like in the first one they like hit lightsabers like 4 times and that's like the fight. And then when the prequels happen, they're like doing like flips everywhere and doing like literally jumping like 20 feet in the air and doing just like not only are they doing acrobatics, but they're like unnecessarily doing side like flips when you don't need to do flips. Like,
Wait, did they just release a bunch of them or something?
I mean, Disney Plus. It's all on Disney Plus.
Oh.
So I just watched for the first time in a long time the prequels, and I mean it was in the third one. I don't know if just so much crazy shit happens that it's actually good, but I always remember thinking that the third one of the prequels was really good, and I still enjoyed it a lot. I'd say the first one is the Phantom Menace one is the worst. Attack of the Clones, and maybe it's just that I'm attracted enough to Natalie Portman in Attack of the Clones that. Also, you like Ewan McGregor a lot, I assume.
Why?
He seems like an actor that you would like. Am I wrong?
I think he's just like
Oh,
It's actually
Chris Bryant hits a home run. Sorry, say that one more. Chris Bryant hit a home run. He had a double early, so it's a big day for him. 400-foot home run, 102.2 miles per hour. Number 9 on the season. What were you going to say there, Brady? Go ahead.
I think Ewan McGregor is a bit of a dork.
Okay. He's charming, and like those prequel movies would maybe be unwatchable without him in them.
Acting wise, like an immaculate actor. But as a person, he's just like
Man,
Yorkie Square.
and I just think
I
though.
remember he went on a cross country bike tour on his BMW bike with a buddy, and I was like,
Yeah. I get it though. I get it. Like if I was, because he's Irish, isn't he? He's from Ireland or Scotland. Scotland? Hold on, let's look it up. I mean, I thought he was Irish, but I mean, I guess I think it is McGregor's.
He's Scottish.
He is a Scottish actor. Yes. Trainspotting. Yeah, like I was just like the worst toilet in Scotland.
That's why Danny Boyle really chose him.
Yeah.
You got a good accent there.
But
Hi, Trey.
Hi. But when he, like, I can understand, like, if you came from, I understand the what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to say mythos, but like just like being like the idea of like, especially if you grew up as like an actor, especially like his age, where you're like watching Easy Rider when you're probably in your 10, and you're seeing these two movie stars riding motorcycles through the United States. Like I understand the appeal. Motorcycles frighten me. Oh, I think motorcycles are like, I don't understand. I don't understand why it's illegal to not wear your seatbelt, but that motorcycles are allowed at all. Like, I don't understand. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. When they're like, yeah, you need to wear a seatbelt in this thing that's 1,700 pounds. And then it's like, but this thing that's only 700 pounds, you don't have to have yourself strapped into it at all. In fact, you should probably not be strapped into it because it almost might be better if you fly 30 feet off of it, because it might crush you.
Hey, get this. You can't wear a fucking helmet in your car.
Yeah.
Because it restricts your vision.
Yeah, exactly. Can you not? Is that a law where you can't wear a helmet in your car? I didn't even know that.
Most states, I know in Iowa, because I was like, hey, I'm gonna wear this helmet. And I can't remember who it was, but they're like, no, that's illegal. I was like, are you serious? They're like, yeah, we got pulled over before.
That's kind of crazy. You'd be like, sorry, officer, I didn't see you there. And he's like, that's exactly why. That's exactly what I'm saying. Oh, ooh. What do you think of, what are your feelings on the shift in baseball? Like the literal shift? Let me give you a better question, a more specific question. Do you think that they should have a rule about where players, like, should you say that only 3 players can have their feet in the outfield when a pitch is thrown? That sort of thing. No. Okay, good. I agree.
I want everybody to try their best.
Yeah.
Hitter and field.
Yeah. I want the first baseman to be behind the catcher if he needs to.
What?
I'm making a joke, but like that's what I'm saying. Is like you should be able to.
I don't know with your fucking wild bull. Playing PlayStation 2 football with you changed my perspective on sports, their legality, and like just moral code of sports.
The thing is that with football, I was right. Like that's been proven with the onside kick shit. Like people have been doing that now, and it's fucking right.
I don't care. I don't want to talk about football.
Did you ever watch that high school football coach?
I do. It's high school football.
Yes, and that's why, and that's largely why it works. It wouldn't really work in pro, probably. But it would. But I bet in a decent amount of college, especially like lower, like D2. I bet that shit would work pretty okay.
But not D3.
Yeah, yes, not the Mighty Ducks 3, where they're at the private school.
0-1.
No, Division 3
Yeah.
Central.
Oh
Country.
yes. Oh yes.
A hold of yourself.
Yes. But I don't know.
Outside.
Yeah. It's I love it's the same thing when we're talking about the shift. I love that the game's always changing. I love that people are they notice a thing and so they change it, and then people change to them changing, and it becomes this whole I have mixed feelings about it being like a 3 outcomes thing now, where it's like people seem to either strike out, walk, or hit home runs. That makes me a little sad because I like small ball. I was a contact. I never sold out for power. I never hit the ball very far. I was all like because nothing made me more angry than striking out. Like striking out was like, yeah, you know me how angry I get. So
played with you for 3 years.
yeah. So once
in the cusp
yeah, I
of
play hard. I play hard. I mean, in sports
I know
in general,
you do everything.
I do it hard.
Yes.
I always tell. So it's funny when it's always so funny that people that didn't know me before I was like 20, like don't believe that I was athletic or that I wasn't like they just know I like to argue, but they don't know that I actually like used to like do sports and was like did a lot of like scholastics and was like a decent, like a pretty good student and stuff like that. Then senior year happened, and oh boy, it just all that all just went down the toilet. Once I was just like, oh man, I can smoke pot instead. Like, this is great. This is fantastic. I can get a little drunk before school and still keep my and still do pretty well, and then go get high after and just like drive around. Like, my senior year was so. It's the irony that when life actually became like, kind of like started to be like, hey, this is when you need to figure out what you're doing. Was when it started to open up for me, where I was like, fuck this bullshit I've been doing. Like, I think about where I was just like, I can't, like, why on earth was I trying so hard in school when I was in like 5th grade? Why? I mean, I guess I still know some history and stuff like that, but it just kind of blows my mind.
You're fine. It doesn't matter.
Ball 2.
Yeah.
Court's on the same track as you guys were.
Yeah. But she had an above 4 point in college.
Oh yeah.
She graduated with an above a 4 point. Is that correct?
Undergrad, yeah.
Okay.
But it was art. So whatever.
Fair, but there still is something to be said for that, because to me the only time to talk about your GPA in college, if at all, is if it was above the what's considered 100%. Yeah, that's still something.
I'm just meaning like the drive of elementary school, like strive for the most.
Oh.
And in high school, she was like I hung out with a lot of people.
Was she valedictorian?
Included.
Was she a valedictorian?
Not shortstop.
No.
Javier.
She got a B in driver's ed.
That's funny. That's one of the only classes I got a B in too. I got a B minus. It was my first. It was because wait, were we in the same class? No.
Were you with Tanner and Amy Shaw?
No. It was me and Wadding and I feel like there's someone else that I'm not thinking.
No,
of.
you're older than me. You took it the year before.
Yeah, I took it before my freshman year.
Yeah.
I started driving. Like, I got a school permit when I was like right away in school.
Yeah.
And then I got in that car crash, and then I didn't, and I can't believe I didn't get my thing taken away. Like, I was just waiting for them to be like, why on a school permit were you going to Burger King? Like, but they were just like, yeah, it was pretty crazy, it was pretty snowy that day, and I was like, yeah, sure was.
Were you in the parking lot?
No, I was, it was a day that, we got a half day when they called off school early, and my girlfriend at the time, Elise, if that dates it when it was,
Yes.
wanted to go to Burger King, And I was such a nerd at that point where I was like, man, I'm not supposed to go off the exact, like, I'm not supposed to go off the closest route. Like, but so then, like, I tried to, when I turned into the Burger King, like, I skidded and, like, hit the curb, and then Sally DePenning is in another car coming the other way with that Damien guy. Do you remember that Damien dude?
Damien?
Yes. For anyone that doesn't go to Newton, this is gonna sound racist, but he was a black dude. I'm just saying that turns it down. That makes it like two different people that it could possibly be in Newton in the early 2000s in the high school. Wasn't that his name? I think his name is Damien.
I have no idea.
You don't know what I'm talking about?
When we were freshmen in high school?
And he probably would have been a sophomore, junior, I think. I'm not sure if he was there the whole time. He maybe moved, but I kind of remember him a little. But anyway, so she like T-bones my passenger side basically, because she like tried to.
Broke the shit off the Bonneville?
No, that might have been something. That might have been Schleichman a long time, or like in college.
No,
I'm not
in
sure.
high school, dude.
Oh, on like the side? If it was on the side, then yeah, maybe. Oh, there was another time where someone fucked my car up.
Strip. Spencer, you were in a lot of car wrecks.
No, I mean like sometime one homecoming night, someone fucked my car up. Like when it was stationary at home, it parked. Like someone put a cinder block in the back of it.
Yes.
I still don't know for sure who did that. I wonder who it would have been.
We had it pinned down, but you don't think it's that person?
I didn't, or well, maybe. I don't know. I guess I'm just remembering who I thought it could have been. Who knows? Who knows? There was also another time where it was really weird where I came home, or I came to. Must have been from after a football game. You know how down the lot, like if you couldn't get a spot in the lot, you just would, or just even just on the side of the road that went to the gravel. You know how people park on the side there?
Yeah.
One time I was like leaving there, and like I turned like someone put like some form of like syrup or something. So like I like started my car and started to go, and then like. I turned my wipers on and it just like smeared everywhere, and I like couldn't see anything for a second because there was just like schmutz, and it was definitely like someone put something on it. And I was like, what the fuck? Also, it was creepy because it looked like blood, so it looked like a kind of like a slasher film type thing where you're like, why can't I see out of the windows? And then it's like, oh, it's blood, and then the guy that caused the blood is also in the back seat, and now I'm gonna be blood on my windshield. Yeah. What?
I didn't remember that happening.
That was just that was probably freshman or sophomore year too. But I don't know.
Leading off for the Nationals, the center fielder, number 2.
Yeah.
Driver's ed.
Ridiculous. Driver's
What were you
ed.
talking about? Who was your driver's ed teacher?
Booten? Is that his name? He was a weird dude. Booten? Blonde dude. I don't know what he did. He wasn't any sort of teacher that was around Newton.
No, they're all like certified.
Yeah, but usually they were teachers, I thought. Like, they were also teachers.
Yeah, that's right.
But I remember him, because I remember in our group it was me, it must have been me, Wadding, and Krista, maybe? But I remember one time Krista said something about her dad being dead. And Mr. Booten was like, oh, how'd that happen? And I was just like, I remember being like, don't ask her how her dad died. She doesn't want to talk to you about it. Like,
Pump the fucking brakes.
yeah. Like the only reason to not say pump the brakes is that we're in a car and you might misconstrue what I mean, but fucking stop talking to Krista, like, about that. Just remember being like, Jesus, he's being very forward for someone that none of us care for. I mean, he was nice, but he was, I don't know. You know who he looked like now that I'm thinking about it? Like, the more that I think about it, the more he's transforming into this person, is Kent from Real Genius is what he looked like. And now that's like, that's how I'm gonna... So that's kind of what's in my brain right now is Kent from Real Genius. Yeah. But
it's fucked up that we all had to take driver's ed from our school.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to. You have to preemptively get like either a school or to get your license when you're 16. I think you might have to take it.
That was an Iowa thing.
Is it an Iowa thing?
Here,
yeah.
No, there's no driving school. It's just like you just
The batter number 14.
Oh, really? Do they make you take a test, like a dribble
you just
test?
take a test,
okay.
but you don't.
Like do they do a driving test though?
Nope.
So it's not like license to drive, where you have to drive to get your license. And a man gets a cup of coffee and he's all like, I don't use a chalkboard, I don't use this clipboard. What I use is arbitrarily if my coffee gets on me. I'm just saying that because I'm assuming you remember license to drive well enough. Yeah, there you go. I always love that part where the cup flips on, because it isn't like the cup flips on him and he's all like, you're lucky I'm out of coffee. And I just want to be like, oh, so he could have passed the test at that point. He could have done anything at that point? Because all you said was as long as he doesn't spill the coffee. Or the coffee.
Remember who the instructor was?
Who's the instructor? No, it was Keith David, was it?
No.
Was it Tony Todd? Is it Carl Winslow? Is it Carl Winslow?
You're on the same race.
Who is it?
It's the fucking the dad from Fresh Prince.
Oh, it is?
Uncle Phil.
Uncle Phil? Is it really?
Yes.
I did not. I can't. It's been so long since I saw it. You know, and I feel bad that I was just naming black actors because I couldn't remember who it was. Did you know, and you probably did, that because I didn't know this till a few years ago, that he was the voice of Shredder in the animated series too.
Yes, I actually did.
That's crazy.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Uncle Phil.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, certain episodes.
Okay.
Or
Yeah.
seasons. It's a whole season.
That's when I maybe want to go back. That was like the reason. I don't mean that from like a depression thing. I mean that from a literal like the reason I woke up as early as I did was specifically to watch the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when it was on at because it was on at 5:30 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah, it was like 6.
Then what a fucking insane time. Could you imagine what show would you watch nowadays that would be scheduled at 6 in the morning?
They had so many programs.
Yeah, and
I was always so Ninja Turtles. I've seen the photo of me because that's all I know.
I don't know.
You've never seen my
I don't think I
full
have.
spectrum?
No.
Ninja Turtles. Oh my god.
Ooh, the bunt down the line. Ooh, they don't get either out of risky play, but it does not pan out, and the Cubs keep the 6-1 lead, and both runners are safe. No, I'd like to see it send it to me.
I will try and get it.
The Ninja Turtles, and then after that, Power Rangers took over that. Probably kindergarten through 1st or 2nd grade was Turtles, and then 2nd grade through 2nd, 3rd, and then maybe a little bit of 4th was Power Rangers.
So I still have every Ninja Turtle original in a bin. They're unopened.
Really? Oh, they're
Yeah,
you didn't open them? Wow.
No, they're open.
Oh, but they're in a bin.
But they're in a bin.
Okay.
Not in a bin.
Okay.
Because
Really, but they're already
with
once they're open though. It's
Ball 2.
once
they're
they're
not
out of the
worth
box.
anything. It's a proud.
Okay. Yeah. They tell you not that they're like, let us sleep, let us slumber, Brady.
We've been mauled. I was allowed 2 foot soldiers.
Yeah.
And I broke the arm off of one. I was like, do I have another one?
I had.
But in the movie, they have 80.
There's so mini figurines of those. Like I think because yeah, how many?
Everybody was like into comics.
So
I was into that from like 5th grade till
really
too old.
Because there was, because like I said, like if you really have like all of there's probably over 50 or 60. In fact, that's probably on the low end because I remember there's some really obscure. Do you have the rabbit that's like based off of like the samurai stuff? Yojimbo?
Yes.
Or what's his name? I forget what his name is, but he's literally he's literally based off like the Kurosawa.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they were talking
samurai
about.
Rabbit.
Yes, he's a samurai rabbit. They were talking about making that into a cartoon because it's based off of Kurosawa movies, like Yojimbo. Because I think his name is Yojimbo too, or something like that.
Yeah, there's so much shit.
Have you seen all those?
Turtles early cartoon action figure.
Now batting.
Like before the movies and stuff. That
Yeah.
wasn't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Warburg.
Well, I mean, the movie
Sonny's
came out when I was what?
Sonny's also really into it. He just doesn't have all the features.
I was
Way more.
the newer cartoon movie was okay. Or newer, the one that was like 10 years ago was okay. The one where Roth was like the vigilante one. I've tried watching the live action ones and they're just fucking bad. And also, it really makes me angry that like supposedly Anna Kendrick wanted to be April O'Neil, and it was like she had already been nominated for like an Oscar, and is a redhead and is hot and a good actress, and she wanted to be April O'Neil, and they were like, no, we're gonna use Megan Fox. It's like, what? Like, but why? Why? And I don't dislike Megan Fox, but I was just like, and Anna Kendrick fits more into the April O'Neil being like plucky, but like kind of like, oh gosh, like I don't know.
Perfect fit.
Yeah, it's insane to me.
She's not gonna be as tall as the Turtles.
Yeah. Ugh. And then like Will Arnett just like hitting on her seemingly every like 3 minutes in the movie. It's just fucking so like I haven't even watched all of the second one. I think I tried. I think I watched all the first one. And also the fact that Krang, who was like my favorite villain, the fact that Krang is in the second one.
You love Krang so much.
I love Krang. Krang is Shredder. Where's my body? Quiet down, Krang. I wish like Shredder was just.
I remember all the time Johnson Street.
Shredder, where's my body? And I just love how he would always like Shredder would always be like, this motherfucker always wanting that body, always talking about Dimension X. Oh, Krang. Were you a Captain N fan? The Nintendo show? Do you remember that? Do you know what I'm talking about? He had a Letterman jacket that was
Channel?
It maybe was on the Family Channel, but it was like he had the Nintendo gun.
Yes.
And he had a belt that was the controller.
He had all the Nintendo things.
Yes.
He had the Power Glove. And all that.
That maybe happened at some point, but his main setup, like his basic thing that he had was the controller was a belt, so he could pause for a little bit every now and then by hitting the pause button to like stop time, and then essentially the gun. He got sucked into the video game when he was playing like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out or something.
So they had that, and then like shortly after that was the Captain Lou Albano.
The Captain Lou thing might have started before.
It was, but whatever they did was like a Nintendo super mashup.
Yeah, when they would start being like, "Hey there, paisanos," where they would just show because they would show because it was really really random too what they decided to show, because they showed a lot of the Mario ones, but I think every now and then they would maybe also show things like Captain N, and maybe, I could be wrong, and like Legend of Zelda and stuff like that, but maybe not. I don't know. I'll look it up some. This is too deep for me to look right now. But look up Captain N. It's really I feel bad for all of the intellectual properties, because because Castlevania is Simon Belmont, and he's just the asshole. Like, he's like, I'm Simon Belmont. Like he's just like this plastic Ken doll who's like he's like a coward, and he's just like really vain. And then Mega Man is just basically talks like a little part, like he, and Kim and Kid Icarus both kind of talk weird. And then the eggplant, is that from, I don't know what the eggplant's from, if that's like
now that
is that Burger Time? Was Burger Time on Nintendo at some point?
Yeah, it was.
But it was King Hippo from Mike Tyson, and then that eggplant, and then the main bad person was the Metroid, the big giant thing in a jar.
Oh.
It was, and it had the voice where it talked like Audrey too from Little Shop. It was always like, "Hey there, everybody!" Like, I need to listen to it, because it very much sounds like someone trying to do a Little Richard impersonation. Is what it sounds like, very much. I think it was called Mother something or other. Hold on, I'm gonna play. Mother Brain was the name of it. I'm gonna search Mother Brain voice, because it's so absurd, and it like, oh man, wow, that's weird, because it must really, because like one of the third things that came up showed Seymour, or showed the thing of Seymour too.
It's probably a similar.
Let's see here. Sorry, I'm fast forwarding to try and get. No. Can you hear that?
The right fielder, number 16, Victor Robles.
I don't know. What a surreal... It's weird that like looking back at those games or those shows, how bonkers they are.
Really fucked up.
Bonkers. What a bonkers world. Yeah.
I got a Nintendo in 1990, and it was the coolest thing, and then all of a sudden,
number 15,
these two
Brandon
TV shows.
Morrow.
I remember the intro to Kid N.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting in his room.
Yeah.
And it's live action, and then he's like,
mm-hmm. And he gets sucked in. Yeah, it's like the glow. He's like in a darkened room, and there's like glow, and he's like, and gets sucked in. Because supposedly he's. Here's a good trivia question for you: is what was the one game that he had never beaten on Nintendo, and he has to go play it? And I had it on Nintendo, and this game was so fucking hard and frustrating, and I don't even think I ever got like a quarter of the way through. And it's not Battletoads. Before you go to that
Ghosts and Goblins?
No.
Contra?
God, no. It's not a very... Hold on, let's see. I can't even remember the name right now. I just had it. Oh, I got it now. I got it in my head.
I can't guess anymore.
The Adventures of Bayou Billy.
Bayou Billy? Oh my god!
Yeah.
I fucking love that game.
It was so hard. We had it for the... Man, I need to find that. I'm so mad because I feel like there's a handful of things that I just know my mom threw. Has my copy? Did we just leave it there? Did we leave it there? No. He doesn't have my copy.
It was in the wall. He punched it out.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please.
I fucking love that game.
Yeah. Did he have it too then, you
Number
said?
9.
That's fucking wild. So that was just advertising for like the hardest game?
He would go, well,
At the time.
Each episode, I believe, would feature a different Nintendo game. Is like kind of the setup. And there was once where he went into Bayou Billy, but he's kind of like, he like has to admit that he's like, it's the only game I've never beaten. Like, so like Bayou Billy is like is there and is like teaching him how to, you know, survive the bayou. He's like, yeah, Adventures of Bayou. When you can't afford the rights to Crocodile Dundee, you call it Bayou Billy. Yeah.
That game is fucking rad though, because there's like overhead aerial planes like dropping shit on it.
Yeah. Also, I was looking at the cover art. The cover art is very pulpy.
Yeah.
Like it's
Does
like
he have a whip?
it's him with a giant, but like a knife that's so big that I don't know why I'm not calling it a sword, but I still think it's supposed to be a knife.
It's
Yeah. And then in the background, there's a guy, like, it's actually kind of fucked up. There's a guy who's presumably, looking at it right now, you would assume he's a pimp, because he's literally, and he is aggressively holding on to a big-titted blonde's arm, and she does not seem to want him to be holding on to her arm, and he's like smoking a cigar that is smoking out Chris. Yeah, he's a fat pimp in a red shirt with a gun on his.
You know what he says?
I don't know.
Down south.
Yeah. I was just gonna say. I wondered if that's where you were going to go. I knew if you didn't have a real thing that was what it was gonna be. And now, yeah. Did you ever watch Neon Joe? No.
John Glazer just really fucks. I don't know.
That's fair. He seems like an asshole.
Yeah.
I think he's very funny, but I think he seems like an asshole.
The shows are just kind of shit. Like D-Located, I don't know.
I liked D-Located okay too. Although I've only seen a little bit of D-Located. I watched almost all of Neon Joe. I do like there's.
Fucking dumb. I don't know.
Yeah, no. Well, you can tell that he was like a writer for Conan in the 90s. Like,
yeah,
that's
sure.
that's exactly what that is. Holy shit! The Washington Nationals were playing some very poor defense today. Yeah. There's one episode though where they start a bar, or no, I think it's already a bar, but they start a promotion where they're instead of shots they have sips, and they're like little, like 1/4 of it, like the tiniest sips. They like loose lips get sips is like the saying, and so they sell. I don't know. It's really stupid, but it's really funny. And
it was just not.
And Stephen Little's in it, I think, and Stephen Little makes me laugh a lot.
He was a champion of 90s talk.
Who, Glazer? And he also is, let us not forget, he is a-hole Ronald McDonald.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
That's
so
what I mean.
so
he's the champion.
So yeah, he's a couple of characters that from Conan that I really like. Did you know that was not the Ronald McDonald, but they had like that character in other things, because it was like a-holes throughout history, and it would show like a Roman a-hole doing that, and then like go to like a caveman a-hole, but it was always him, I think. But he would just go up and be like, ooh, like give it like a ooh, and fucking like throw a drink on somebody, just walk away, like.
That's the best one.
Oh yeah, at the end when he just gives the thumbs up at first. Oh man. Whew. Yeah, Nazareth is I need to listen. I don't know if Nazareth is good. I feel like I haven't given them a chance, considering the only two songs I know are so starkly different from each other, because their two most famous songs.
How many musicians have you met and talked to about about several different genres of music.
I've never heard anyone talk about how much they like Nazareth. I've never heard a musician be like, but that doesn't mean that's fair. But the thing is, I don't mind. Both of their hits I kind of like. They're weird, like, and Love Hurts and Hair of the Dog are both so different from each other that I'm interested to hear like which sound their music is more like overall. You know what I mean?
God damn it, so am I. I'm into it.
I feel like I should. I'm just gonna like tag Kyle Dre in a post, and like Kyle Dre and Corey Eagle will tell me like in descending order which albums I should listen to.
Hey,
if
let
I'm
me
going
know
on.
how Kyle Dre's doing, because I just threw out on Instagram. How are you doing?
Yeah, he doesn't always get back to he'll say random things every now and then. Like he sent me a text that was like, "Hey, because Sauce is closing," and he sent me a downtown liquor store over by like Gray's in there. But he was like, "Hey man, Sauce is closing. 25% off cash purchases, 15% off of card." And I was like, "All right, like I might give that a look here." Like, which just goes to show how crazy the world is right now. Yeah. And then I messaged him back and I was like, "Oh, do you know when they're closing?" And he didn't. I don't think he messaged me back. So, but it was nice that he thought of me about how much I drink. Yeah. Although I almost want to. Are you drinking right now? No.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Maybe I'll make myself a whiskey drink. I've barely been drinking. I'm really mad that my body's gotten worse looking after not drinking last.
I'm sorry, but you got like really drunk really fast.
Yeah, I know. I said I did. I admitted it. I wasn't like saying I wasn't.
I was
1-0.
Yeah. Well, the last
said,
time though I hadn't had anything to eat either. And the last couple times I've had it happen so quick where like I'll go to sleep and then I like wake up like at like 3 a.m. and I'm just like, what just happened? Like, yeah. But like I said, I didn't eat anything last time, and then I ordered pizza, and then I felt, and then I ate most of the pizza.
When we were talking on trivia on Monday,
Yeah.
that's when I was like, what?
Yeah, no, I got it.
Because Corey was like, what the fuck was it? I was like, he was sober. And he just had like a pint glass of whiskey.
Yeah.
Or mixed or something.
It was a Sprite. I was drinking beer too. It was Sprite. I probably had a tenth or whatever. Half of this probably, and with a couple of beers. But like I said, I hadn't had anything to eat, and I've been drinking
Now batting, shortstop.
probably about once a week now, the last month and a
Good
half.
for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not, I mean, first of all, thank you. But second of all, it's just, it's whatever, I'm just not at bars. Like,
Well, that's what I explained to her. I was like, he's not going to the bar.
Yeah, I'm not going to work, and then I'm not getting my tab paid. I'm not like doing work, like doing comedy stuff or doing karaoke stuff, where like sometimes my payment is in drinks, or sometimes I just have to like, if I'm annoyed with, sometimes I just get too annoyed not to drink when I'm working at if I'm doing like comedy or karaoke. I get, yeah. But that being said, like for the most part, like I don't like getting drunk by myself at home. I don't like doing that for the most part. I've had once or twice I've had like a beer or two, but if I'm not talking to people, I'd much rather eat a bunch of food for sure. For sure. I would much rather eat an entire Chicago style pizza than have like a bottle of whiskey. If it's like you need on myself. For sure. But yeah. So we'll see. And I don't know. And I'm getting more freelance writing stuff now, but I don't know if I want to go back to working as much as I was at a bar. So we'll see what happens there. Even with comedy nights, maybe I might have other people. I don't miss doing stand-up mostly. That being said, we are talking and I'm Twitch streaming it. So I'm sure that's like.
This is not stand-up.
Yeah, it's not stand-up. No. But like, I just like how I've had like 4 ding dongs and 5 chocolate chip cookies instead of drinking. It's like there's always something that takes the place of something else. You know, you're always filling the hole with something you gotta fill it. Or, well, I shouldn't say something has to fill it, but often does, especially if you don't think about it. If you're conscious of it, you can say, I'm doing this. Apparently, this is becoming an episode of the Midnight Gospel right now, whereas when it's 7. And then I was like, maybe you should do acid. Have you watched Midnight Gospel?
No.
Okay. Do you like Duncan Trussell?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
I'm interested to see what you'll think of it because
I'm scared of him.
Okay. That's fair. He talks
because he's so fucking out there.
Yes. But that's what was nuts is like everyone's like being blown away by. And don't get me wrong, it's cool because Pendleton Ward does they essentially what they do for this Midnight Gospel thing. It's on Netflix. Pendleton Ward essentially took some of his Duncan Trussell's podcasts. I'm assuming they happened before. And then he put to the interviews from the podcasts. They made up a narrative. So he's interviewing a person, and they're going along, going to different worlds and doing crazy stuff that
with animation.
Yes, with animation. So Pendleton Ward puts animation to it, and then they got the people. For the most part, they got the people to come back and record some lines to have it fixed, to have it be to have a narrative, to be there's Dr. Drew's in an episode where he's the president, so there's he comes in and he's all oh, there's zombies. So there's 3 or 4 lines about them fighting zombies, but everything in between those lines is just them having an interview and has nothing to do with that, but it just shows them doing it's them having a regular conversation, but they'll be in a monster truck running over zombies, stuff like that. But they talk about psychedelics a lot in it, and he talks a lot about just emotions and stuff like that. And it blows my mind that people are freaking out about it, and I was just I didn't realize that people don't talk about their feelings at all, or that they don't talk about their emotions. And Chris Bryant just hit his 2nd home run of the day, so he has 423 feet, 107 miles per hour exit velocity. It's a 2-run home run. His 10th of the year.
All right. Spencer, this is the new development of your Twitch stream. Just keep it going.
Yeah. No. So anyway, what was I gonna say? Oh, the
big one.
Yeah. The show.
Home run. Oh wow.
Well, I figure. It's okay not to pay that much attention, but I feel some things should be noted, and I feel when a guy has a double and 2 home runs, I'd give a tip. If I was wearing a hat, I'd tip it. And now the Cubs lead 8-1 in the bottom of the league. So anyway,
these Cubs. What's the record?
They're only a game up in first place. I think they're 25 and 13 or something like that. This is game 36 or 37. So I've been doing it long. Yeah, I know it's so dumb. I sent a thing to Ryan Solomon where I called him because they were playing the Dodgers and he lives in LA now, and he didn't. He was at work or something. He was doing work or something. But he was hey. He's sorry, Mr. Cause, I had a work meeting, and I was oh, I just wanted you to be on my, oh man, another error by the Nationals. But I was oh, I just wanted you to be on my thing, and he's oh, I saw you were doing that, and I was yeah, and I was what went from a small following of pre-recorded YouTube videos has turned into a live stream on Twitch that even fewer people follow. It's really funny because the first couple of episodes had hundreds of views, And then now, I don't think any of them have more than 100, aside from the first 2 or 3. But it's fun. It's whatever. It's fun.
1-0.
It's funny. It's something. It's something to do. And like I said,
Sure.
they're winning. They're doing okay.
Do
The
you
Reds.
like baseball?
I do like baseball.
Where you would watch
Ball
it
too.
like that.
Yeah, it'd be cool if. Although I'm almost glad that it's not like. It would almost be if people were actually watching it a lot. I mean, it'd be a good problem to have. But like once real baseball would come back, first of all, everyone would leave. Second of all, if they didn't, I would just be like, no, I want to watch real baseball now. Let's watch real baseball now.
Yeah, like don't stay.
Yeah. The trivias are actually getting way more people. And I might do that once a week here. I need to go get Quinn's
How
Jam.
many Instagram people do you have?
Like, the people that follow me?
Yeah.
Like, good question. Give me 1 second. It's actually pretty deep, considering...
We're dropping off Facebook.
These days.
Just fucking shit.
So, I have, considering I, like, didn't used to post very often, now I post a decent amount. Now I post probably every other day. But for the longest time, I was only posting, like, once every couple of weeks, probably, or once, but I have 740 followers, and I'm following 1,500 people. And everyone on, what, sorry?
Post to Instagram.
I have. Every night I'll post to my story, I'll say I'm going live on the thing, and stuff like that, but,
That's a ball.
yeah, it's all good. It's fun. Like I said, and hopefully, although I realize when they're not, baseball's probably not going to be back till like July 4th. So I was like, man, I'm gonna have to do like 60 more of these. Like, Jesus. Like I didn't think. I thought that there were gonna be. I figured by June that baseball would be back. I might start watching Korean baseball because people are doing that now because Korean baseball is really going on.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, they're good.
awesome.
They're good. Like Korea has won. I'm pretty sure Korea has won the world baseball, whatever the fuck they call it, when the Olympics. Is that what they call it? Yeah, the Olympic Olympics. Pretty sure they've won it at least once. Because I think them and Japan have both won it, and I think they've been in the finals against each other before too. I'm trying to think if they have. There's been at least 3 of them, maybe. God, was it due to happen soon again? I feel like it must be due like this. I feel like it was 08, 12, 16. Was it this? Was it supposed to happen this year?
It's staggered off of the Summer Olympics.
Oh, so maybe it's going to be 2021 now. Yep. It's funny because let's see here. The United States was won in 2017, and the next one is in 2021. So, but I feel like either Korea, Japan, and Cuba, at least 2 of those 3. I think there's been 2 other winners, and I'm pretty sure all of those teams have been to the finals. I think Cuba's maybe even been there a couple times. Oh, actually, Dominican Republic won in 2000. Oh, okay, so it started in 2006. The first 2 times they were doing it every 3 years, apparently. Well, they did it in 2006 and they did it in 2009.
Yeah, I didn't get traction until 2012.
So the Japan won it in 2006 and 2009. Then Dominican Republic won it in 2013, and then the United States won it in 2017. And then, so in 2009, Korea was the runner-up. Puerto Rico was the runner-up in 2013 to 2007. That's really impressive. And then, let's see here. Italy got to round 2 in 2013. Sorry, I'm just looking at...
It's really impressive, though, like, who is willing to, like, take their time to be on the teams.
Yes.
1-1.
And I'm really surprised Cuba was only the runners-up once in 2006. So they were the runners-up the first time. Maybe they just didn't play in the other ones. I thought they did that. But that still blows my mind. I remember one year... Because I thought one year Israel did well. It says round 2 in 2017. Sorry, it's just weird looking at baseball teams that, are just teams. The Italy team. Because Anthony Rizzo was on the Italy team in probably in 2009. I'm guessing. Because I think by 2013 came around, he was probably in. I don't know. Because Anthony Rizzo played for the Italy team a long time ago. Because if you have ancestry for that is you can basically any grandparent on either side that you can track back to a country you can play for.
It's like a fourth.
Yes. And he was not good enough to be on the American team.
They were.
Is that the Olympics? Does that do the Olympics?
It's not necessarily different. I think it's just
No, but do they have the same rules? Is that the same rules?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's did you see that movie with Nick Kroll and where they're at the Olympics, the Winter Olympics? It's what's the girl's name? I'm surprised Quinn didn't talk about it. When we went to St. Louis, it was it got released recently, but we saw it last year, 6 months before it was going to be released. And it's Nick Kroll plays and they filmed it in South Korea, or is that where the Olympics were, or was it North? It was South Korea, right? South Korea, North Korea. Where was the Olympics?
It was South Korea.
Okay. No, but it was okay. Yeah. So, so was that the 2016? Or was it 2016 Olympics? Or was it?
I remember this project.
Okay. Yes, Pyeongchang. But so, him and this, and I remember, another home run, but I don't know who hit it. Was that Almora again? Good for him if it was Almora. It was Almora. It's his second of the year, his second of the game. Good for you, Albert. But so the main actress in it, and she's also the producer and the co-writer because they improvise a lot. She plays a cross-country skier, and she does it. She's basically just not. She's elite for herself, but isn't one of the best in the world. You know what I mean? She's not going to medal. So she had a personal best, but she was 17. You know what I mean? So it's her dealing with watching other people be champions and because that isn't. And she for real in real life because she's Greek ancestry, and I think she was an Ivy League did the steeplechase marathon running and maybe some cross country some sort of. They were a real Olympian, and then so they made this movie where they were a skier, and that made it. Once I looked it up, it made the movie a little better because I was she actually is bringing some some real.
Some merit.
Yeah, there's validity to the experience, because before I was just why is this she's not that funny, she's okay at acting, but I was kind of just confused about what was happening, and then I looked it up and I was they were guerrilla filmmaking, a romantic comedy essentially, but also it was kind of serious about because Nick Kroll plays a dentist who volunteers to be a dentist, and so you can tell they're interviewing. They get real Olympians to be his patients, and you can tell they're hey, we're filming a movie, pretend improvise, pretend I'm just a dentist. You know what I mean? That sort of thing. So like he'll be asking them questions about their teeth, and like and half of them don't speak great English, so it's just kind of funny that they're just having conversations and being kind of silly with him. God, what's it called? It's like called. But they also set themselves up
Your attention, please.
for
Now
a
pitching
sequel,
for the
which
Cubs.
I'm bet they're like kind of
Number
upset
30.
now. But it's
Alex.
Olympic Dreams is what it's called.
No.
It currently rests at a 67% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Rotten Tomatoes is
I wouldn't say it's horseshit. I would say there are movies that I think are very good. Also,
not a wide. Until you get 100 reviews. Fuck off.
okay. I mean, it's hard to get that many reviews for anything, but also, I think what people don't realize is that it's mostly taking everyone's review. It's basically taking a thumbs up or a thumbs down. So like something could be like there could be a movie that like everyone is like, yeah, it was fine. And that would be like a 95%. You know what I mean? Because that was like everyone's reaction was, it was fine. Which is good. It's just whatever. But I think people tend to think when it's like a 98%, they're like, that must be an amazing movie. Whereas it can just be a lot, like most people agreed that it was okay. Whereas there's movies that are like 40 to 60% that are very...
Why isn't that...
People know.
Why isn't my thing Rotten Tomatoes saying fuck that, fuck Rotten Tomatoes?
I mean,
if everything is okay, if everything is passable, yes or no, that's a bullshit rating system.
Yeah.
Don't fucking have Rotten Tomatoes make everything just okay.
I will say that if I see a Rotten Tomatoes rating is above 90-some%, then I will be. Then I'll be like, it's probably. I'll probably enjoy it. Okay. Like, there's very few movies that have been rated extremely high that I didn't. That I wasn't like, yeah, that was good. Like, but her name's Alexi Pappas is the girl in that movie, and so here the box office $29,000, $29,450.
Awesome. That was all plane tickets.
Yeah, largely. And it's weird because she's like probably in her like because the whole movie she's like hitting on him, and he's just like, I'm kind of older than like he's just because she's probably like.
So when people are like you like John Mulaney.
I love John Mulaney. John Mulaney's one of my favorites.
Nick Kroll is my son.
Okay, so you like Nick Kroll more?
Fuck yes.
Okay. No, and I don't dislike Nick Kroll. Some of his stand-up stuff kind of annoyed me when he would do characters.
It's not stand-up. I don't give a shit about stand-up.
Yeah.
Like comedically, that's where John Mulaney ends. Because he's not writing jokes for SNL people. He's not really a character. He's a character with Nick Kroll.
Yeah.
Other than that,
he's just him. Yes, Nick Kroll is always doing characters, and John Mulaney is often just himself with a twist. Like even his "Oh Hello" thing, I feel like is just a little twist of himself.
Yeah.
But the Alexi Pappas is actually 30. I thought she was way older or way younger for some reason, but yeah, she is a two-time All-American, NCAA All-American, and one of 9 finalists for the NCAA Woman of the Year award. So, but then she went to the 2016 Olympics. A Greek citizen. Oh, so you have to become a citizen of wherever the Olympics are. And she set a national record at 10,000 meters. So she must have been a track and swimming. She said. So yeah. So it's one of those things where that's got to be humbling to like be the best person in your nation, like, and then go to a place where it means nothing to a dozen other people. Like, can you imagine being so good at a thing, and then going to a place and having everyone in the world that's better than you at it be there. Can you imagine being the worst? Can you imagine being the worst Olympic athlete?
No.
You know?
Oh man, that would be something.
I mean, it'd still be great. Yeah, it's one of those.
I don't have high hopes, so
I've wanted to get into curling. I've wanted to get into curling because curling is admittedly those aren't athletes. Those are people that have regular.
Are you kidding me? That's a skill.
Yes, it is a skill. I'm not trying to detract from it by any means. I am saying that it is a learned, practiced thing, and then also supposedly, and the Cubs win. Alec Mills puts it away, 12-1 for the Cubs. Especially with the new mops or whatever they call them. I don't even know I'm talking about how I could maybe be an Olympian and I don't know what they're called. The old sweepy sweeps. There's the mops or whatever, the brooms or the mops. But they some people that play it were like talking about how they're making those too good. Like they're making it so it's so easy to manipulate every shot. Because like the sweeps now like are made out of whatever weird microfibers where you can just do everything you want to with it, whereas before it was like not as precise, I guess.
The winning pitcher is John Lester.
So Steven Strasburg got the shit kicked out of him today. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, 5 strikeouts, 6 earned runs, and 3 walks. John Lester got the win. 9 hits off of him, 5 strikeouts, 1 earned run. So he got real lucky on those hits getting scattered where they were. To only give up 1 run on 9 hits is pretty good. But to not walk anybody definitely is going to help you with that.
At Wrigley Field this afternoon.
Yeah.
41,649.
You should. I don't know what it's streaming on. It's got to be streaming on something that Olympic Dream thing.
There's also a very good, it might be 30 for 30 curling documentary that you can check out.
Really?
Seriously.
I will have to give it a look. And
how it switched the respect of everybody outside of Canada.
Oh, really? In for curling. You know what's funny is I remember reading a story, and I've been, for the longest time, I wanted to write a screenplay that was based around like an Olympic curling team and have it be like a comedy. And then I swear I had this idea like years ago.
It's a serious fucking thing.
No, I know, but I mean, it's still funny. Curling's still funny, like obvious, like because because the people that are in it's the one sport that the people look different than everyone else there. Yeah. Because they're like teachers and people that work at Best Buy and like and they're like and they're also known for the part like they're like the curlers are the ones who are like, holy shit, I'm an Olympic athlete, isn't this ridiculous?
Course,
what?
That joke ran its course from last Winter Olympics.
Sure, but I'm still saying, but they still are known as the partiers though, supposedly is what I had heard.
They fucking are,
yeah. But like I said, I was mad because the Broken Lizard guys, supposedly someone said do that, and they were like, yeah, we will. But I swear I had the idea like 3 or 4 years ago, and I just never wrote it. But yeah, because I wanted to have their the whole thing was like they want their nemesis are the Canadians. And then, like, the German team is trying to, like, be their nemesis. And they're like, no, we're already nemesis with the Canadians. It's easier. They speak English. It would be weird with you guys. Like, you guys can't do jokes as well. I don't know. Something like that. But anyway, tomorrow, Tyler Chatwood is 1-3 with a 5.24 ERA. He's taking on the Nationals. And Patrick Corbin, who's 2-3 with a 3.3 ERA. The Nationals are 12-25. The Cubs are 26-13. So nearly flipped records of each other. Yeah. So we'll see what happens there. And I think, let's take a look back here. The Cubs are now a game and a half up on the Reds in the Central, with the Cardinals 9 games back overall, the Brewers 13 games back, and the Pirates 17 games back, for their last 10, At least. That's as far back as I can see the last 10. I don't know if they've lost more than that in a row, but I know they've lost 10, it looks like, in a row. So, yeah. So, Brady, thanks for being on the show. I'll, yeah. I'm gonna get going here, Brady. Were you just building that up? Were you trying to build that up?
Yeah,
okay.
bye.
That's good. That's good. I like it.
Have a good night.
Yeah, you too, bud. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for having a talk.
Yeah.
Bye.
Likewise. Bye.
Well, that's the show. I'm gonna save it in a second. But thank you for watching. If anyone's there, I didn't even look if anyone actually said anything. Okay, no one said anything. Have a good night. Good night.